Hello, everybody. Joe Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It's Thursday, and kind of a special for you today. From one of our members. Oops, wait a minute. There we go. It doesn't quite work. Boy. All right, I want to post that one. I want to go back. Let's see if I can get this to work. Hold on. So, just start over. Trying to get the TikTok live going right now, and that's what I'm doing right now, just so that let's see, options. Okay, almost ready to go. There we go. All right, there. There we go. Without much further ado, just wanted to do a show here on some of the. Let's see if I can get. There. Okay. So hopefully that'll work. I had a little bit of a. Again, I'm just flipping these windows around sometimes, and it doesn't quite take. So I apologize for the little bit of technical difficulties. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you kind of an interesting thing. This is the O'Neill checklist, and I use this extensively when I am looking to buy a stock. And everybody says to me, "Well, what are you going to do? How are how are you going to buy a stock? What are the criteria?" Well, most people just say, "Oh, well, it looks like it's going up, and it looks good, and what are we gonna, how are we gonna, how are we gonna do that?" Well, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to try to get another video here. Hold on one second. Having another issue. Let's see if I can put it up here and get the video currently as we're live. Let's see. Okay, come on, baby. Ah, jeez. All right. I'm going to try to put the video up here again. A little bit of an issue with with the video on this. So hopefully I'm going to get the video back here. Let's see if I can do that. So hopefully I'm going to get the video back here. Okay. There we go. All right. I think I have an echo. Jeez. All right. Trying to enter again. See if I can. Okay. Okay. No. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to try this again. Let's see if I can just turn down my audio. Again with the system here. So I'm going to probably have to try to exit once again. And okay, hopefully, there we go. All right, I should be okay. Let me check my audio, make sure that that's okay. Make sure I have my audio. Okay, I do. I don't have sound, but I do have audio, so at least that's good. All right, sorry about that difficulty. Um, with this, I'm gonna have to just exit Discord here, and maybe this will work better. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and try to do this with the with this. Oh God, darn it! Sorry. Ay, ay, ay. All right, all right. Okay, let's see if we can do this work. Let's see if we can get this to work. Let me check my audio again. Make sure that I have audio. I do. Okay. Let's see if I have headphones. Let's see. Okay, hopefully this will work. There we go. Okay, I think I finally have it. So without further ado, let's see if we can talk a little bit about the O'Neill checklist and sort of how that works. How I typically will buy a stock. Here's the thing about the O'Neill checklist. This is a very good. If you follow this, you are likely to get much better entry points into stocks than you normally would. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, what William O'Neill did, and he was the founder of the IBD, he basically had several criteria that he used when buying a stock. And the whole idea with the O'Neill checklist is to buy a stock as it's getting ready to move higher, and not just based on emotion. Try to have an absolute checklist that will let you buy the fund. Now, I'm going to go the checklist I'm going to go over today is for PayPal. PayPal has been setting up very nicely. As a matter of fact, I have some buy stop limit orders in on this one right now to buy. So basically, what are we talking about here? Well, the first criteria for O'Neill is he always wanted to see that his stocks had a earnings per share rating of over 80%. That means that it's in the top 20% of all shares. So that's definitely important. In case for PayPal, it definitely passed that. He also wanted a relative strength against the rest of the market of greater than 80%. Again, this is a situation where PayPal passes. He also wanted a accumulation rating. Now, what is an accumulation rating? Well, he wanted to make sure that the stocks were being accumulated by large funds. Now, in the case of PayPal, it's either an A, B, or C. It's a C, so there's a lot of funds own PayPal right now, but he wanted to make sure it was A, B, or C. That's definitely true here. Then he also wanted to make sure that the sales were moving better than 20% over last quarter. That's definitely the case with PayPal. He also wanted a sales price of per share of over $10. Definitely PayPal meets that criteria. And he also wanted to buy it very near its all-time high, within 15% of that. That is definitely the case with PayPal. He also wanted to see a number of funds in it that were over 5. Now, I'm going to show you the most current chart for PayPal. If you'll notice, it makes all of these criteria. PayPal right now is getting ready. PayPal's all-time high is right here, and as you can see, it is very near its all-time high. Its all-time high is about 308, and this has been, this is the all-time high of PayPal. PayPal, even in this weak market, is getting stronger. So that's one thing to look at with this as well. We have this is being accumulated by the funds. It is near its all-time high. It has a relative strength of 82. 80 is needed. 80 is 80 is where you want to start looking at it. We have it being accumulated by the funds, and we have an upward trend on it. And another thing is we're right below this buy point here. So this is what the criteria basically is for how to buy a checklist to buy a stock. Now, obviously, you're not always going to get 100%, but I like to get at least a 66% on that. And on the O'Neill checklist, that is 6 out of 9 of these criteria I want to see. Here. Now, PayPal is extremely strong, so therefore, it meets 9 out of 9 or 100% of these areas. So basically, what we're talking about here is we want to buy stocks as they're getting stronger, not as they're getting weaker. We don't want to catch a falling knife, as it were. We want to buy a stock as it's moving to a higher high, being accumulated. And if we can find all this in one stock, then it's a good bet that it's probably going to move higher. So just kind of to recap, we want an earnings per share rating of greater than 80%. PayPal definitely passes on that. We want a relative strength of the stock against the rest of the market of 80 or better. Well, in this case, PayPal is an 82, so that's quite good. We want accumulation rating of at least A, B, or C. Well, in the case of PayPal, that is a C, so it's quite good. We also want to see a sales change. We want to see the sales change of, greater than or equal to 20%. So we want sales increasing going forward. That's definitely the case with PayPal. And we also want a current price that is more than $10 per share. In the case of PayPal, it's a lot more than $10 a share. The reason we want to have it typically more than $10 a share is because it's less volatile. It's easier to buy. Now, sometimes the best place to buy stocks is as they're moving above about this $10 per share. And that's why I put out the good stocks under a $10 list. And the reason is because this is a place to scout for potential movers above that $10 range. Below $10, stocks typically are not buyable by the funds, and it's the funds really that move the price of the stock. We also want to buy a stock that's greater than equal to 15% of its all-time high. So we want to be buying stocks as they're moving up, not as they're pulling back. Remember this. This is really important. This is a very, very hard concept emotionally to get involved with. You always want to buy bargains. But in the stock market, we want to buy stocks as they're moving higher, not as they're pulling back. Also, we want to see 50-day average volume, at least, we want to see quite a bit of, we want to see probably $1 million, a million shares traded a day, and that definitely meets the criteria here with PayPal. We also want to see the number of funds in it that are greater than or equal to 5. So let's kind of go with a live chart. I'm going to put up a live chart for PayPal here, and just kind of go through it and take a look at the PayPal chart so that we can kind of see if it meets all those criteria. So I'm putting up a live chart right now with MarketSmith. That's the software that I use. It is an IBD piece. It is IBD software. So, I'm not a shill for IBD, but I think it's very, very good. And I've used this software very profitably. It has a lot of nice features that I particularly use on it. So let's go to the PayPal chart. All right. Well, with the PayPal chart, I've been tracking it for a long time. You see, this line here is a reversal line. And then as it's moved higher and higher, it's forming this cup with handle formation. Now, let's go to the O'Neill checklist. This happens to be a live checklist on on this software. The rating, the EPS rating, 80%. Pass, 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 all the way down to pass. So it's got a 100% checklist here. Also want to look at the industry and sector that it's in. Currently, the industry rank is a little bit low. This is the only criteria that I think is not absolutely top notch, and it's 115 out of 197. So let's take a look at this. Let's look at this sector to see how the stock is setting up. It's in the finance credit card sector. So if we look at it in terms of holdings, it is the number one stock in this sector. Okay, if you'll notice, is PayPal. Well, I've really liked that. Now, there's some other great stocks in there like Visa and all that, and American Express. They're a little bit. They're almost all very good, but PayPal, as you'll notice, is absolutely, in terms of the valuation, is the top stock in this area. It has the top relative. It has one of the top relative strengths. So we are buying essentially the best of the best when we're buying PayPal. That's why. That's really how you use the O'Neill checklist, and it's very helpful. Now, it does take time to set these up. I'm not going to say that you can react immediately on this, but that's what I do. I try to plan my trades. Currently, right now, I have a trade in on PayPal that I'm looking to buy PayPal if it moves above, and I'm going to go to the correct chart here for PayPal. I'm looking to buy PayPal if it moves above this this buy point here, and the buy point is right on the cup, and the buy point is 296.01. Now currently it's selling for 294.96. Now what am I going to do? Well, as the stock moves above this buy point, I will buy it 10 cents above that buy point. So that's what I use. That's how I use the buy stop limit order. But this is a great question on the O'Neill checklist, and it's right here. Remember, EPS rating above 80%, relative strength above 80%, accumulation A, B, or C. This is C in this case. Earnings per share going up over last quarter, up for 20%. We're also seeing sales up, current price as well. So for the last thing, let's take a look at the criteria just to kind of take a look to see. As you can see, on the last quarter, our sales for PayPal, and this is incredible, we're up 31%. We also the profit was up a whopping 65%. So not only is PayPal growing in sales, but it's also growing in profits, and it's moving much faster than 20%. So this is a stock that we want to take a look at. So that, in a nutshell, is basically how to use the O'Neill checklist. So let's go take a look at the next, just the kind of the normal rundown today. Basically, what's happening in the stock market currently is that we had a sell-off in the morning. We're down a little bit on the NASDAQ, but we're still above that very key 14,000 level. We're at 14,553 when this slide was taken. So that is good, but as you can see, we pulled back. So hopefully we're going to get some support. Hopefully it will not fall all the way down to the the 50-day line. I hope that won't happen, but it definitely took a hit today. There was a lot of selling going on. I was sold out of several of my positions, including Nvidia, but I did have another position in Nvidia that was not sold out. But I did get stopped out of Nvidia. My stop was at 778. I was stopped out there. And then it did move back up. But here's currently what I'm holding. Apple, basically, I'm down a little bit on that. It's at 143. This is acting very nice. There's an opportunity to get into Apple up to about 147. And that would be, over that, it would be a little bit extended. CrowdStrike, I'm down a little bit on that today as well, down about $4 or a little about 1.6%. It was up yesterday, but it's down today. DocuSign is continuing to move up. This has been a very good stock for me, and I probably will be adding more. L Brands down a little bit. Marvell Technology down a little bit. Microsoft down, Nvidia of course down. It's at 792.57 right now, and interestingly enough, Nike was up. So here's my allocation and kind of how it stands from where I bought things. For DocuSign, I'm up 24% for 35 days. Microsoft, I'm up 5%, 17 days. Nike, I'm up 4%, 14 days. CrowdStrike, 3%, 17 days. Apple, 3%, 7 days. And Santana Commercial, I'm even. Now, this does not show, NVIDIA because it's held in a different account. So that's kind of the long and the short of it. So thank you for bearing with me and all my technical problems. And let's get into some of the questions now. And again, if you're looking on TikTok right now, super easy. All you have to do to see what's going on is go to my profile, hit the link, and then scroll down, and you'll see the live feed for the show today on YouTube. So thank you for waiting, and I apologize for the technical difficulty. Thanks, Nathan. Okay, I did. Thank you very much, and uh, email me. Give me a note in the Discord room, and I'll send you some of those slides for this, so you can kind of take a look. Thanks for that. I do appreciate very much you reminding me there for that. All right. Did NVIDIA break below its price channel? That's a very good question. Let's take a look at NVIDIA because it did. It had a big sell-off today. I was stopped out as well. I was stopped out right at about 5%. So I want to kind of go to the daily chart and kind of take a look at that and see how that is trending. So let's go back over to the daily chart. There we go. All right. So here's kind of what happened. We pulled down to we pulled down to the 10-day line and we bounced. So that is, looking as if, the channel. I don't think the channel line has necessarily been broken but I do think that it's trading on that 10-day line. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw a trend line, and this is the trend line it had been following, and then it came down to this line. So this is sort of the trend line. This is still the trend line for NVIDIA. And I do believe that, this is going to be the 19th here. So I do think that we could be as high as this number, as hard as this is to believe. We could be, by the 19th, we could be all the way up here at about 890, 893. We could be that high. I'm not sure that's going to happen. It depends. But what happened today, let's see if I can move this box here a little bit. Yeah, let's kind of move it over here. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to kind of move the box out of the way so we can see kind of what's going on. We pulled back to the 10-day line. As you can see, it's tested there, and it looks like it's tested again. So I do expect that we will get a bounce off the 10-day line. Now the question is, will we come back to where we are? Well, the trend still hasn't broken trend if we can hold above about 780 today. If we can hold above that, we still haven't broken trend, and it looks like we may have bounced off of the 10-day line. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. I was stopped out, but I am looking at to come back in, possibly, but we did have a test of the 10-day line again. So it's not the most fun thing, but there's going to be some shakeouts, and I think as we get closer to the as we get closer to the split date, which is July 19th, I think we're going to get more severe because a lot of the big boys want to spook the smaller investors out of the issues. So that's kind of what I think is going on. Let's take a look at Micron Technologies, MU, and of course this is also a great company. I do think though it is misclassified right now. Right now with MU, and I'm going to go to the weekly chart because that's kind of really how you should start looking at it. We are in a bit of a downtrend on MU, so right now it's not a good entry point for MU. As you can see, what I've done here is I've sort of drawn this reversal line. I'm going to set an alert on that line, and basically what this line is saying is that I'm only interested in possibly looking at it if it moves above this line. Currently, it looks like it's moved back down to the 200-day moving average, and that is, hopefully we'll find some support there and bounce off of that. But right now, it's not a buy. There's been a lot of selling. As you can see by this volume, there's a volume spike to the downside here. The relative strength is low. Now, I want to compare this to the PayPal. We were looking at the PayPal checklist. I want to look at the MU checklist. This is the checklist for Micron Technologies. You can see it's not nearly as good. It's only a 66 checklist. Why? Well, the earnings per share is good, but if you'll notice, the relative strength is less than 80, so that's not a good thing. Also, the accumulate rating is down. This is a D, so the funds are selling this issue right now. Also, you'll notice it's off of its all-time high, over 15%. So basically, just based on those criteria, we probably can't buy Micron right now. It just isn't set up right, and it doesn't have the right checklist. I mean, that's just the long and the short of it, unfortunately, for right now. All right, space. How high can it go tomorrow? Well, Virgin Galactic is a little bit different stock. It's not really an investment grade stock. It's sort of I've made money on it, but it is essentially a very highly speculative stock. It looks like it's moving up in the after hours though, and let's take a look at kind of what it's doing. I'm going to go here to the daily chart, sort of to take a look at it, see how it's done. What happened here is that it went down, basically almost touched the 21-day line, and then it bounced right up. And of course, where I'm interested in entering it is if it can move above about 55. If it can move above about 55, I think then we've continued the trend upward. But hooray for the people that got in today. I think you did really, really great. There was an awful lot of buying here, and the relative strength is up. So we may see this thing move even higher tomorrow, based on this chart. But here's how I would look to do it. It's pulled back a little bit since the close today. It does look like though it has moved up. But it is starting to settle. So if you're going to get in this one, you want to buy it on the uptick, and I would think that about 55 would be sort of where I'd want to get in with a buy stop limit order. Anything below that, you're risking it going down more. But if you're in it currently, start pushing that stop loss up. I would set my stop loss right now at 50 if I was able to get in today in the 40s somewhere. I would be at 50. Protect your profit here, because it's very, very volatile, and it easily can pull back once again. So let's take a look at, thank you for this, DVN. DVN. Let's look at that. And take a look at DVN. Devon Energy. It's funny, the oil was up today, but some of the stocks have been off. It looks like it's sort of this cup with sort of handle action here. It seems to be, pulling right back down into the buy zone. Let me just take a look at this group. This is the number one group, by the way. Once again, this has been the number one group for at least 4 months, and it's something that really is very interesting. Let's look at the top stocks. Of course, Denbury is the number one. Bonanza Creek, Matador, Climax. So let's see. I just want to take a look to see kind of how Matador, if it's set up. I don't think it is. If we could possibly re-enter Matador here. It's not really, we can't really enter it, unfortunately. I was shaken out of Matador for a nice profit, but I have not been back in Matador. I do think that we're likely to see a bounce possibly at the 50-day line. But here's the problem with resource-based stocks like the oils. They tend to be, they tend to basically move on the price of oil itself, the underlying commodity, and not on the index lines as much as some of the other stocks. So, if you're down more than 7%, I would sell it, wait for a better entry on that. That's sort of what I would do. I would probably do that. All right, Workhorse. Oh, everybody loves Workhorse. I think, the autos right now, and we're going to take a look at Tesla, but I think that WKHS, let's take a look at Workhorse. I don't think this is a breakout, Andreas. I'm sorry to tell you this, but this is not a breakout. Workhorse is trading below the uh, Workhorse is trading below the 200-day line, so it's not a buy at this point. You never want to buy something below this 200-day line. It just isn't a good practice. That means that money is flowing out of this issue on a long-term basis. So I don't think you want to do that. It was a little bit of an uptick in terms of the relative strength, but right now, Workhorse, I just don't see it. The chart isn't there for it, unfortunately. Now, a chart that is working right now is Apple, and I have been building a position in Apple. Right now, Apple is working. It for so long it was not, and now it seems to be working once again. So if we're looking for a place to kind of park some money, currently today Apple is up 2.3%. It's still in the buy zone, so you could still buy it here at this level. You could still buy Apple. But it's just barely in the buy zone. If it moves above about 146.50, then it's going to be out of the buy zone. So technically, you could buy it here. There is still an opportunity in Apple as we speak. And again, I've been trying to build a position in Apple because I do think that based on this action, it probably is going to go higher. So many of the automobile stocks that were doing well last year just aren't doing that well this year. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla had a real fall today once again, and I want to show this to you because this is key. I know that it's very tempting to go and buy it, saying, "Wow, it's 650," but I just think that it needs to turn the corner. It did break out above the reversal line, but again, it's right back down to the 200-day moving average. Right now, at the 21-day moving average. So I just think you have to be extremely careful with the autos right now. They just don't seem to be getting traction. Maybe they will by the end of the summer, but right now I think you just kind of be careful. So Workhorse, NIO, Tesla, Ford, you got to be careful in these ones. They just aren't getting the power right now. So that's just kind of the way it is. SQBG. Let's look at SQBG. SQBG. There we go. Sequential Brands. Interesting. Owns a portfolio of consumer brands in the fashion area. Huh. I don't know this at all. It's a little bit cheap stock, $12. I'm pretty careful about it, and it's been in decline. Yeah, this just doesn't look good. Yeah, boy, I'm sorry to tell you this. Yeah, I think you got to be careful with this. This is pulled way, way back. It seems like this one may be shorted. I'm not sure kind of what's going on here. Let's see if this is a short squeeze. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up, I'm going to try to pull up the, see if I can get it up here. The, see if I can get, I can get that up here on the calculator up. All right, let's see if I can do it. There we go. Okay, so no, that's the App Store. I don't want that. Okay, sorry. There we go. There's the calculator. All right. I knew I had it up, but I wasn't sure. So we're going to look to see if this is a short squeeze. And the way you do that depends on the kind of charts that you have, of course. But on my chart, the short interest is 0.1 days times the average daily volume, which in this case for this is 1,700,000 per day. So basically, we're seeing about. So we really don't have a short interest problem. Looks like we're down. So it does look like. And there's not very many shares in the float. There's only 1.2 million. Wow, this is not a lot at all. Well, actually, there is short interest problem here. It's 14%. Anything above about 10% or so, and the stock is getting potential for a short. But I would just stay out of this one, Addy. I just think there might be a better place for you to be in the market. It doesn't look good. The chart doesn't look good, and it does look like there are people that are unfortunately being are being knocked out here. So I think you have to be really careful on this one right now. Oh boy, here's somebody that bought on the dip. Um, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to buy on the dip, even though it is Nvidia. I think you probably will be fine with buying on the dip here. Normally, it is not a good practice to buy on the dip. It just isn't, because unfortunately, if it's not a super strong stock, and Nvidia is a super strong stock. Now, you might be a good this might have been a good move because it probably is going to bounce off this 10-day line. That's probably what's going to happen. It's higher than where it did pull back to initially. It's a little bit lower than where it closed, but this might work. I do think where it's going to go. You know, my gut feeling is that it's going to move up into an over 830 by the 19th, and the reason I do is because of the trend line. So you might be fine in this. Normally, though, it's not a good thing to buy on the dip. Now, I broke the rule today too, so you have good company. I did buy. I was stopped out, and then as it started moving up, I bought some more. So you probably are going to be okay on this. I have a feeling you're going to be okay on this, but normally you don't want to buy in the dip. It just doesn't work usually very well. But in case of NVIDIA, because I do think this is going to pull back and it's about to shake out, I think we ought to be fine. And because it is before the split. Now, if there wasn't a big event like the split, I probably wouldn't do it. But I don't think you're going to be in trouble here because I do think it's going to move up. So you might have made a very, very good move. Let's look at TTD. Now, I was shaken out of TTD myself. Basically, of course, this is the trade desk, and it's a tremendous stock. Let's see if I can. They control a lot of the digital advertising. It's kind of been erratic though since the 10-for-1 split. The 10-for-1 split basically was basically back in June, and but it has been moving up ever since. Today, it's cleared a nice little hurdle at about this 80-50 level. It's back down below there though, 70-60. So would I buy it at this level? Well, let's take a look to kind of see what the trend is. I'm drawing a trend line on it right now. And so I do think that, it has pulled above this trend line. I kind of want to take a look to see kind of what the checklist is looking like for the trade desk right now. I'm going to go to the checklist. Yeah, it's not a great checklist. It's a 66 checklist, which is okay, but there are better ones out there. So, I think that you're probably better off with certain 100% checklist stocks like PayPal. PayPal has been a place in Apple. I am trying to accumulate positions in both of those. Let's look at AMD. AMD to see. Okay, AMD kind of pulled back hard today. Kind of the same story. It's still below this buy point, this 89 buy point, and I think eventually it's going to get there. But right now, AMD is in what they call a basing move, and I think that it's just got to give it more time. I do think it probably will bounce off the 10-day line though, and it is up in after hours, which is not surprising. It's a great stock, but tough to trade. We still don't have enough relative strength on it, though. The relative strength line is pointed down, but it does have an 88 checklist. The only thing it really lacks, the only thing that AMD really lacks is that relative strength. It's only 62, and we want to see 80 there. But it's not bad. But I wouldn't buy it at this point. I'd wait for it to reverse higher, and probably above about 95 is where I'd probably be looking to do that. How do you find a stock that will fit your criteria? Good question. Basically, what I do is I look through the top stocks in the top sectors, and it's not easy necessarily to find something that potentially is going to have potentially going to have a breakout like that. So there are a number of tricks that I use, and one of them is I have software that I scan stocks that are near a pivot. That typically can be a very good thing to look at. Right now, and I want to show you the stock that I'm looking at right now. It's called Viva Systems, and this stock potentially meets the criteria. And I have it is right below the buy point. The buy point being 326.54 on a consolidation. So the question is, does this meet the criteria? Well, this is very close. The only thing that this fails on is the relative strength, 69 currently. This group has been improving, but it has not been outperforming in the last 4 to 5 months. Currently, this is one of the reasons this computer software medical group is 136 out of 197, which is not necessarily the best the best strength. But what I do is I look to see which groups are improving, and that's kind of how I do it. And it takes a while. I do a lot of screens over the weekend to find out which stocks that I might be that might be moving and moving better. So you might want to put this one on your list. VEEV. It's called Viva Systems. It is in the software area, but it's in the medical part of that, which I think is potentially a very good area. So that's kind of something that I am definitely looking at. Okay, we have a question from um, we have a question from we have a question from TikTok, and that's regarding Bitcoin. So let's take a look at Bitcoin price. And all I'm doing is I'm just going out on the web here and taking a look at what Coinbase is saying for the Bitcoin price right now. And of course, Coinbase is also an IPO, which is also an IPO. So I'm going to go over here to the prices. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Kind of see what's happening with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is continuing to move downward. Excuse me. Bitcoin is continuing to move downward. It's at the bottom of its channel at about 32. I do think that if it falls below 32, then it may move lower, but right now it's in a channel from about 32 to 36. What I also do with Bitcoin is just kind of see how it's trading, is I use a proxy for it, and that is the GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. GBTC is a symbol. And right now, we have seen a little bit of upward motion today, I think, on Bitcoin. No, I'm sorry. No, we did not. We have a red bar. So yeah, Bitcoin is continuing to weaken. So I don't think this is necessarily a very good time to get into Bitcoin right now. My indicators say that it's probably going, if it falls below 32,000, unfortunately, it's probably going to go lower. So not the greatest news for Bitcoin, at least for right now. I'm not that bullish, at least not in the ultra short term. The ultra short term. All right, let's look at Coupa Software. This is the software space is a really big space, and um, there are many different areas, but Coupa Software seems to be getting some strength, Jeff, and that's a really good thing. But it's still very weak, and I wouldn't buy it here because this is one of the main things that I look at for technicals. One of the things I'm always looking at is to seeing how it's trading versus the 200-day line. Currently, it's under the 200-day line, so I want to see it have more strength. Also, we have a relative strength of 16, which is quite weak. Now, it's true that the enterprise software area has been one of the underperforming areas. It is improving, but I think you want to go with a less volatile stock on this. My guess, and my bet on in this enterprise area, and I know this is kind of boring, a boring suggestion here would be to go with the leader, and that would be Microsoft. I have a position in Microsoft. Currently, the checklist on this is only 55, so not really very strong. So I want to compare this to Microsoft, which is in the same sector, by the way, and show you why this might be, at least it's a boring stock, but it might be a better bet. And as you can see, this shows you where I purchased. I purchased right at the buy point at 238. I probably should have bought a bigger position because it's done very well. As you can see, it's moved right up here. Currently, it's a 77 checklist, which is not the best. I'd like to see it better than that, but it's still pretty good. The relative strength being lagging, and the sales increases have been lagging. But remember, this is a massive company, a $2 trillion company. So instead of buying Coupa software right at this point, I think you're probably better off. We're right at the top of the pivot. I mean, we're right at the top of the buy zone for Microsoft. So this would probably be your last chance to get in before you have to you can't really get in anymore. But if you want to be in the enterprise software space, which has traditionally been a great area, I think that, we're right pretty much at the limit. The top of the buy zone is 276.40. We're at 277.60. So basically we're splitting hairs here, but we probably could make a buy. We probably could make a buy on Microsoft, but we probably couldn't we probably couldn't buy any more than that. I mean, this is going to be probably your last chance to get a half position, at least for a while. So in terms of Coupa software, I think you ought to look at Microsoft. It's a stronger stock. It's probably going to do better than Coupa, at least for right now, just to basically on what I'm seeing. Coupa is trading below the 200-day line. Microsoft, on the other hand, is in a buy zone. So what I'm trying to do here is buy the strongest stocks that I possibly can in the best sectors. And right now, Microsoft is the leader in the computer software, the desktop enterprise sector. So there you go. All right. Question on hello. Is it still a good time for Amazon? Good question. I did do, by the way, for everybody out there, I put out an Amazon spread, and I want to take a look kind of at that. I'm gonna pull up that slide deck here in just a second. But let's look at Amazon and see. And let's kind of see kind of how it's doing. Yeah, it's doing great. No surprise here. I mean, it's tragic because this thing is such an expensive stock. I wish everyone could afford it. That's one of the reasons I put out the spread trade on it. But yes, it is looking good. It's right above the buy zone right now. Unfortunately, these shares are so dang expensive. Basically, this one 37.26, very expensive, but it's looking very, very good. Now let's kind of check in on the spread trade that I had there. So let me see if I can let's see if I can pull that up, and I could pull that up on some of the ones that we had. So let's do that. And currently it's 37.31. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the spread trade that I put out yesterday. This is the bull call spread on Amazon. Let's see if I can get this back in here. Hopefully we can get this camera back. Okay, come on. Yeah, there we go. We got the camera back. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you sort of where we are with the trade that we did yesterday on Amazon. I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to pull up the profit chart on that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so basically this was a trade that we made yesterday. I mean, this is a spread that I put out there on a slide deck yesterday, and I kind of want to see how it's doing because Amazon has been doing very, very well. So currently Amazon closed at 31.71. So let's take a look. Let's see, 37.70. Okay, so currently this spread, I guess this is July the 8th. Yeah, okay. Based on the trade that we made, this is currently up $432 if you decided to make this trade yesterday. You should be up about $432 on this trade based on yesterday. So Amazon is doing quite well. This was the trade here. This is sort of how it lined up. Basically the entry cost on it was $3,000, and it does have a maximum return of $1,930, and the break even 35.80. But of course today we're at we're at 37, 37. Let's see, 37.31. So let's go 37.31. So we're right here. Okay, so we're right about we're right about here. We're about $330. We're right about there in terms of the expected return on this. When we went into the trade, we went into the trade right here, basically at the break even, and then it's been moving up ever since. So the Amazon trade's looking pretty good right now, and that is available to people, if they're interested in that. And let me see if I can put that information out there as well. Let me just get see if I can get the the okay, so yeah, there it is. Okay, so if you're interested in this trade on Amazon that I put out there, you can go. I think you still could enter it at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put I'm going to put the URL out there for everybody, and so this is the URL for the. Let's see if I can show that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so, there we go. So this is the nope. This is I'm giving you the wrong information. So let's see if I can get this. Let's see if I can get the right the right trade out there. So let me go ahead and copy that and give you that right now as we speak. So I didn't get that out there right. So let's do that, and there we go. Okay, so basically, if you want to see that spread that I was just showing you, and it's up about $300 today, so we've had about a 10% gain basically in the last day or so. It's basically bit.ly.com/Amazon AMZN _bull _call _2. So that's how if you do log on with that, you will be able to see that slide deck, and that give you an idea on that particular trade. But thank you very much for bringing that up. I think that trade's going to work quite well. It seems like it seems like it's moving very, very well right now. So we'll see if it continues on there. But that's also, we do put these out, by the way, for the people that are on the Discord room. They usually get the look at this first, and then everybody else. Okay, great. Carlos Cruz, can you show us how to buy and sell the calls for Amazon? I've never. Okay, I can do that probably. What I'm going to have to do, Carlos, is I'm probably going to have to do a video on this to show you. But basically, what we're doing here is it's called a bull call spread, and you simultaneously buy you simultaneously buy the upper call and you sell the lower call. So what I'll do is I'll try to put that together on how to do a spread tomorrow on my show. I'll probably try to do that on my show tomorrow. How you basically get into that Amazon spread, because it's going to be a good one, definitely. All right, let's take a look at ARK. Now, basically ARK, this is of course Kathy Woods' fund. This is primarily stocks like Tesla and what's the other one? I can't remember them all. But this is very heavily weighted to Tesla. So as you can see, it's sort of trading very similar to Tesla. Right now, I just don't think it's doing as well. I mean, if you've been in this a long time, you're going to do well, but I think that you got to be a little bit cautious on this right now. It just has not been performing as Tesla has been moving lower. It's been moving lower. This is part of the reason I typically like to just have these single stock, and I try to look for the best one in that particular area. But ARK is primarily is primarily Tesla. So. How much buying power do we need? Can be done, Robinhood. If you could, Carlos, maybe if you could send me your if you could send your email address to DallasTradingFloor.com at Gmail. I can probably get with you offline on that. So yeah, it's difficult. You can do it on Robinhood. It's much more difficult. I typically use TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab to do this. Apple. Let's look at Apple. Apple has continued to do well. It's in a buy zone right now. Nvidia. Um, It definitely pulled back today. Hopefully, it's going to get some strength. I want to take a look at how it closed today, but right now, Apple is moving. It pulled back a little bit at the close, but it's right in the buy zone. Apple is buyable right now, and I do think it's probably going to go higher. So, Apple is looking very, very good, and I do think that it's likely to go. It's likely to go higher. You can buy it at this level. Now, here's the thing: if you do decide to buy Apple, you need to buy it quickly, because it will soon be out of the buy zone, and buying a stock extended can be very, very problematic. So, we have a window of opportunity to buy Apple right now, but it's kind of fleeting. So be careful on that. With Nvidia, it looks as if we haven't really, it hasn't really changed all that much since the close. I do believe that we have tested I do believe that we've tested the 10-day line. I do expect it to trade up tomorrow, based on what I'm seeing here. I do expect Nvidia to trade up tomorrow. So hopefully that is the case. Hopefully that's the case. Remember, it's not how a stock opens; it's how it closes that really counts. All right, let's see if I can get another question. All right, what about BABA? Okay, yeah, I don't think it's the time to get into BABA. Many of the Chinese stocks are struggling right now. They were sort of last year's stocks. Stocks are very, very, very trendy. It just is not a good. It's not a good chart. I want to show you the chart. It's a downward trending chart. You just don't want to be in it. It's below the 200-day line. I just think you got to be. I think you just got to skip Baba for right now. I just don't think it's the place to be. All right, let's see. Nice. Okay. I think this is Nice Systems. It's an Israeli company. Let's take a look at Nice, N-I-C-E, and see. Yeah, I mean, maybe it did jump a little bit, but it does appear that it has broken the trend. Let me draw the trend line on here. But I just still don't think it's a buy. Let me just take a look on this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. So it has broken the trend line. Okay. So that's good. That's definitely good. Let's kind of take a look. It still has a very weak relative strength, 50. I'd like to see much higher than that. 80 is where I want to see it. It has a 55 checklist. Yeah, this is okay. I would not be a buyer of Nice right now. Just wouldn't be. Let's look at Boeing. Boeing is another one that I probably would not want to be in right now. Yeah, it bounced a little bit, but Boeing has been very, very weak. Again, Boeing really is probably not a buy until it gets above about 287. So I don't think we could be in Boeing either. Unfortunately, right now it just does not look good for Boeing. Baba is oversold. Yeah, I think so too. Palantir. How low can it go? Well, it could go very low. Palantir has been apparently they've been investing in startup companies that have been buying their service, and there's all kind of shenanigans going there. So their sales aren't necessarily really their sales. I think this one could go significantly lower, unfortunately. I was in this one initially, as it was an IPO, up to about 45, but then once it started falling, I was out because of my stop losses. It's going down. Not a good entry time, not a good entry for Palantir right now. Just does not make sense at the moment, unfortunately. All right, let's look at HEPA, H-E-P-A. H-E-P-A. And Hyperion Pharmaceuticals. Another area that is particularly difficult to trade. are the pharma areas. Again, this is a penny stock. Penny stock pharmas, there's more pharma company, there's more pharmaceutical and biotech companies than just about anything else that has stock. This was trading below the 200-day line. I just think you got to avoid it. I really do. I mean, I've heard of this one, but again, they do have a treatment for shingles. I'm sure that it's great, but boy, this just is not. I'm not liking this action at all. It's got a 44 checklist. I would avoid this. I would really avoid this one. I just think this could end in tears. It's just. I mean, you might be able to make a pop on it, but I don't know. You have to be careful with that. I would not be a buyer of that. Not be a buyer of that at all. All right, let's see. Nvidia. I do think that Nvidia is likely to trade up tomorrow, only because it looks as if it has tested the 10-day line, and we are, of course, coming into when it's going to split 4-for-1 on July 19th. So I do think there's a very high likelihood that it will trade up tomorrow. This was a shakeout, I believe. It wasn't a retreat. So we will see how it's going. Remember, just a few weeks ago it was 650, 700. So it's up about $150 from where we started buying it. So not bad for a few weeks. Not bad for a few weeks. All right, let's look at Baidu and JD. Okay, so these are probably sells, but let's just take a look at the charts. JD.com, DD is having issues as well. Some of the big cap techs that are in China have not been doing this very well. So I don't like this chart at all. It's below the 200-day line. I would sell this if I was below. If I had lost more than 7% on this one, I would definitely sell this one. I would definitely sell this because this is trending downward, unfortunately. Let's look at Baidu as well. This, of course, I guess is like Amazon. BIDU. Really, the one you want isn't Baidu. The one you want is Amazon. Yeah, same chart, same problem. So these are both bad, unfortunately, Jeff. If I was down more than 7% on these, I would be considering lightening up. Okay, last question. Thank you very, very much, Jim. Thank you very, very much. Hopefully everybody, I'm trying my very best to put out the information that'll make everybody money, because I'm different than a lot of people. I actually trade my suggestions. I don't just say, "Hey, it's out there and you're on your own, buddy." I don't do that. I actually trade. I actually trade everything. So, I have a vested interest in trying to provide you the best information that I can. Today was a little bit of a shocker. Not a shocker, but I was pulled out of Nvidia, one of my favorite stocks. But I've made a lot of money in it, so I can't get too excited. Right now, I'm looking, kind of at the old standbys. PayPal is looking very, very good for me right now. That's the one that, at least for today, is looking the best. I'm trying to build my position in PayPal. I do have a spread in it, but I don't actually have the shares. I'm trying to buy the shares right now as it moves above the buy point. So that's kind of where I'm at. If you want to get on the action trade alerts so that we can send you out some of these trades, I'm going to try to. I don't think I'm going to have anything coming out tonight, but I'm probably going to have some stuff out tomorrow. If you want to do that, it's very easy to do. Just go to if you're on. If you're looking on YouTube, it's www.sendfox.com/DallasTradingFloor. And if you're looking on TikTok, super easy. Just go to my profile, click the link, and first and last name and your email address, and we'll get it out to you. We probably don't have anything tonight, but tomorrow we're probably going to come out with some special goodies for everybody that's on the action trailers. Thank you so very much for taking a look and taking time out of your schedule. I will be back at 2:30 tomorrow for a wrap up for the week. This is a short week. It's been kind of a tough week. I think the market is getting a little bit weaker, so we have to be a little bit more defensive than we've been in the last few weeks. That's kind of what I'm seeing. We're still in a confirmed uptrend, so we still want to, we still don't, we still want to be coming out of cash if we can. But the uptrend seems to be a little bit weaker. So be careful out there and size your positions properly. And until tomorrow at 2:30, thanks for bearing with my technical difficulties. See you tomorrow at 2:30. Happy trading.